I'm gonna be honest, I was severely disappointed with this movie. We have The Dark Knight, we have Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman. You think it's gonna be this all out war, battle, this epic film that is entertaining beyond all measure. Maybe you are a DC guy, maybe you were entertained, but I'm gonna be honest. You're not gonna like my review because this film was fucking boring. I was bored. Now, granted, Ben Affleck's Batman, I think, was awesome. I think he plays a really good Batman, and when he was on screen doing Batman-like-ish things, he was pretty damn awesome. I will admit that fully. But there are a lot of problems with this film, and I'm just gonna dive into a few of them that really pulled me out of this film. This film was shit. I wanted to like this. I wanted for this to measure up, but I still lowered my expectations, and I still came out even more disappointed with lowered expectations. So that should say something. I love Batman, don't get me wrong, and Batman was probably the best part of this entire film. And this has never been done in cinema before. Having Batman and Superman, other than I think The Dark Knight Returns, the animated series, we've never seen Batman versus Superman other than the comics. So, naturally, there's a lot of hype for this film going in to see it, because you expect this to be so grand and epic when it was nothing. I was bored. First things first, the transitioning. This film was all over the place. I'm sorry. It was everywhere. It was just like scenes and scenes. It was over here, then talking to the Senate. Then it's, Batman's death scene. Oh, and his parents' death scene. Then this, and then that. And like, it was not a smooth... It was everywhere. That's as best as I can describe it. The film was everywhere, every place. It was just a mess. Jesse Heisenberg, Lex Luthor. I knew from the get-go that was a terrible, poor choice decision. He is a psychotic madman. It's almost like he's trying to be like the Joker, okay? Lex Luthor is not a psychologically damaged psychopath. He is an arrogant, power-hungry man who has an ego, who's greedy, who wants to move up in power, and who's also a genius. Jesse is like this crazy, psychopath, crazy dude who tries to be all witty and funny, and it just falls flat on its face. Lex Luthor was fucking terrible. Terrible. An insult to the character that we know as Lex Luthor in the comics. This is my review. It's subjective. You don't have to agree with me. You can dislike it because you're a fucking DC fanboy and you gotta agree with everything that this film does. But it was dull. It was dull, not very entertaining. It took about almost 40 to 50 minutes for any Batman versus Superman things to happen. And then when it did happen, and sad to say, there was parts where I felt like... they're acting on screen, talking on screen, and all of a sudden, CGI just gets blown on your face. The CGI in this movie was terrible, dreadful. It's insulting. There was so much... It's like, you're really into a film, and you're starting to get invested into something, in a sequence, and then all of a sudden, this, like, CGI scene just completely takes you out of it. And that was this movie for me. I got taken out of this film numerous times by the terrible, look like unfinished CGI. And I hate saying that because typically I'm okay with CGI. I'm not against people using it, but when it makes the film, when it takes you out of the movie, that's a problem. Wonder Man was cool for the and I think actually the actress who plays Wonder Man, I think, wasn't bad at all. She didn't really... The uniting of Batman, and Superman and Wonder Woman, it was cool, but nothing special. It was really underwhelming. In fact, the whole movie was underwhelming for me. The fight scenes between Batman and Superman, they were cool, but they're nothing spectacular. This film felt like a bunch of like mini stories all just like thrown in at different parts of the film. That's how it felt to me. This does not feel like an actual movie with any sort of, plot. And I'm disappointed with the film. I really am. I'm not going to dive too much in the plot because it's fairly obvious. It's Man of Steel, all the people died, Batman blames Superman, blah, 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 blah. It's very predictable and nothing's really... God, I didn't want to review this movie in such a negative light. but it offers nothing to the table. And Doomsday was shit. Sorry. Maybe probably shouldn't have spoiled that in the trailer, but he looked like shit. The CGI in that whole sequence and just like... Honestly, through all the advertising, Dawn of Justice is overselling the whole Justice League hype. That's what I feel. You don't have to agree with me. I didn't like the movie, and those are just a few of the main reasons. Lex Luthor being one of the main reasons. The terrible cinematography, the choreography and cinematography were terrible. Especially the fighting and stuff. It was just it didn't help that everything was dark. Like everything was super 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 dark, and then you could like tell the blatant scenes from CGI and then from real footage was it just took me out of the movie. I'm sorry. Plot was every place. No consistency. That's my review. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't expect too much of this film. It was severely disappointing, and Warner Brothers, you got a lot to catch up on. I mean, I did like Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman was good. No problem. Wonder Man was fine. Aquaman was cool. There's cool elements to this movie. It's there. There's cool things. But ultimately, it did not measure up to the hype and the overselling point of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. If you want to see a good animated show of Batman vs. Superman, go watch The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2. That's a great one. I wish... This film was dark, it was gritty, but I don't know. I'm curious to see the rated R version. Maybe it will be more entertaining with some blood and some guts. Who knows? Anyways, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of the movie yourself? Did you like it? What did you not like it? Why or why not? And as always, my reviews are completely subjective. They don't have to be a reflection of how you think and how you feel, but it's always going to be those people who dislike this video because I don't say what they want to hear. So if that's you, fuck you.